You're listening to episode 51 of Lifestyle Locker Radio with me, Dr. Josh Hand. Hi, I'm Dr. Josh Hand, and welcome to the Lifestyle Locker Radio, where we dive into what makes an awesome lifestyle. From relationships to money mindset, nutrition to fitness, emotional health to peak performance, we bring you on an amazing journey to unleashing your human potential. So Locker Nation, today we are going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. It's health. And where in the world does it come from, and where does it definitely not come from? I'm going to share some wild statistics with you up front because, this may strike a nerve with some of you, but I think the truth needs to be known. A lot of these research articles, you have to search for, you have to find them. They're not public knowledge. They're not excited about sharing things like this because it doesn't help business. So here's the first one. In Johns Hopkins University, they came up with this wild statistic with their research. They came up with this, that there are 250,000 deaths per year, which, believe it or not, is the third leading cause of death in the U.S. And you probably can't guess what it is. You're probably thinking like heart disease, cancer, maybe respiratory or something like that. The third leading cause of death is medical errors. So a lot of oops. So 250,000 oops per year happen. That's insane. That's not far behind cancer and heart disease. So that's the first big thing. If we have this much happening because of oops, that means we probably have way too many people going to hospitals, way too many people taking too many medications for all of the wrong reasons. Hey, don't get me wrong. I'll tell you what, I break a bone, I cut my arm open, I am going to go to get some emergency medical help. I have in the past, and I will again, God forbid, if I have to do that. You know what? The U.S., in my opinion, has probably the best crisis-based care in the world. The ER, getting the help. But what most people do is they base their health on just living from crisis to crisis, so they're using that system so frequently that that's all that they know. They know that, you know what, if I go to the hospital, I must be healthy. Or I'm, maybe not healthy, but this is how I get healthy. And that's so far from the truth. They may save you from a major trauma in your life, and that's fantastic. But what you need to do is actually get healthy so you can start to prevent bad things from happening and be proactive so you can get better, right, throughout your life. So if you do get injured or you do get hurt, you can actually heal faster. So one other thing that I want to share with you, there's a lot of other things I want to share with you. One is this opioid epidemic that we have, which is insane. It's insane in the U.S. I mean, the opioid deaths, the overuse, the craziness is just insane. And it really pisses me off because what we tend to see is, I have some statistics here that I'll share from the American Society of Addiction Medicine, and they are saying, here's just an example, is one thing. So in 2012, there were 259 million prescriptions for opioids. That's enough to give every American adult their own bottle of things like oxycodone. And I know all of you listening have heard of this drug. Very powerful, very similar to heroin. People that end up using this will actually end up going over to heroin because it's cheaper. Right? It's insane. So here's the survey from the American Society of Addiction Medicine says this: 4 in 5 new heroin users started out by misusing prescription painkillers because they liked the way they felt. 94% of all the respondents in a 2014 survey of people in treatment for opioid addiction said they choose to use heroin because prescription opioids were far more expensive and harder to obtain. So the addictive nature of these things is insane. And it's pretty crazy. It's almost like, how can we make billions and billions and billions of dollars How many more people can we put on this? We have adolescents. We have 12-year-olds taking these medications. In 2015, there were 276,000 adolescents were taking these types of pain relievers, with 122,000 of them, so almost half of them, right, having an addiction to them. That's insane. That's like making full-blown drug addicts from the age of 12 to 17-year-olds, which will make them a permanent fixture in that world, in the medical world, because they're going to need pain pills to stay on, pain pills to stay off, pain pills to change, because they're going to screw up their neurology so much in their body by taking these things, and they may end up killing themselves either accidentally or from an overdose, right, from using this. So this is fully insane that things like this are happening in this world. Here's another really interesting statistic. Now that we're going here, you maybe hear me bantering about pharmaceuticals and drugs and medication and how I think they're bad, because I do. Here's a crazy statistic. If you've seen the movie, the documentary Doctored, which was out not too long ago by Jeff Hayes, one of the statistics they use is really crazy. It's going to blow your mind. 5% of the global population is here in the U.S. Right? So 5% of the world, 5% of the population of the world is in the United States, and we take 50% of all the pharmaceuticals produced by Big Pharma. Does that like bug anybody else besides me? I mean, they obviously made a documentary on it about being doctored. You should definitely all go watch it. And it's just insane. Because here, think this. We want to know where true health comes from. We obviously know it's not coming from a bottle, a pill, a lotion, or anything else. Frankly, health is not coming from nutrition. It's not coming from pretty much fitness. It's not coming from any of these things. Health is actually an inside-out job. Right? We understand the hierarchy of the human body's central nervous system. We need that to function optimally, so all other functions function optimally. So understanding that means a good nutrition is going to help support healthy neurology. That means fitness is going to help support a body and keep it in the best physical condition it can be, so it can support the structure of the spine and the central nervous system, so you can actually stay healthy. So we know that the body needs to function at 100% for us to be 100% healthy. And people will use the word pain with me. Oh, I'm in pain, so I must be sick. Well, I tell you this, or ask you this. If we took a brick and dropped it on your foot, let's say we broke your foot. Right? Think about this. Are you healthy or unhealthy? Right? What are you? Right? We know you're still healthy if you're a healthy person that dropped a brick on their foot and broke their foot. But let's say we do this. Let's say, rather than letting the body heal, doing what it needs to do, maybe getting a cast or whatever it may be, and letting it heal over time, we give you some of these strong painkillers. And you feel fantastic, but we still have a broken foot. So now we start walking on this foot. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I know your answer, right? You're already saying in your head, yeah, that's really not a good thing. So health needs to happen without any interference to it. Does that make sense? Having these painkillers all the time and having other medications that are kind of playing chemistry set, chasing symptoms. Most of the time they're chasing symptoms. It's like raising blood pressure or lowering blood pressure, changing cholesterol in the body. Who makes up all the norms for all of these? I mean, think about it. There's another great book. It'll kind of scare the hell out of you, because I read it. It scared me. I mean, not in a bad way. It was just like, holy cow. It actually helped my grandmother make better decisions in her health, got her off of medications that her doctor said she should be on, even though she hasn't really been taking anything for most of her life. They put her on blood pressure medications and bone density medications, which all they did is wreak havoc on her liver and kidneys, made her feel like crap, made her joints hurt. And once she read this book, she made her own decisions, started taking some really cool nutritional supplements, going for longer walks, doing better things, and two really cool things happened. One, her bone density changed and got better. And the medical doctor's like, great, the Boniva is working. And, she had to say to him, I haven't been taking it for months. I've been taking these supplements that my grandson and my son gave me. What? No way. They must be working. Can't happen. Not so true, right? So she changed her lifestyle and started to change her future. And this is someone who was in her, I believe, her late 70s at the time, maybe early 80s. Still alive, still running around like a crazy lady today, my grandmother. I love her to death. And the second thing that happened, I apologize, it wasn't blood pressure medication, it was cholesterol medication. Her cholesterol was high based on their standards, was something like 350 or 400, something like that. And her lipid profile was up at 800, which is, in their terms, very high. So they wanted to put her on Lipitor. And this is one of the drugs that was wreaking havoc on her joints, making her very uncomfortable. And what happened when we shifted, we didn't do it. When she decided to do something healthier and try a natural route to actually let her body heal slowly over time. And granted, throughout this whole process, she was seeing a chiropractor. She was getting some acupuncture as well. She eats pretty well, my grandmother. She always says, aren't I the healthiest 85-year-old or 84-year-old or 83, however old she was at the time? However, she's like, aren't I the healthiest one you know? And the answer is yes, Grandma. Of course you are. But when she started taking high-dose fish oil, really good quality fish oil, and that was the biggest change she did when she got off Lipitor. Went back, again, same thing, blood tested with her doc, her medical doctor, and wow, needless to say, her cholesterol levels dropped down to like the 200 range or just maybe shy of 200, right around there. And her lipids dropped down to like 300, I think it was what the number was, if I remember. This was years ago. And the same answer, wow, the drug's working, things are doing great. And what did my grandmother say? Of course, I stopped taking that stuff a long time ago. And the doc says, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm going for walks, and I started taking fish oil. No way, this can't be working. And this is just the reality of our society. We're just taught that, we have to raise and lower levels of things by using these chemistry, these chemicals. And where do we ever end up healthier that way? We may be keeping something, but once we stop taking that, keeping a level to a certain area, but what other things are we hurting along the way? And I know all of you, maybe have you heard like a drug commercial once in your life? They crack me up. They are out of control. It's like, oh, this drug will help with your depression, but some side effects may be heart disease, cancer, homicidal thoughts, suicidal thoughts, depression. Wait, isn't the pill I'm taking for depression? And it has all of these side effects. So what I'm trying to get at you guys here is that your body is so unbelievably amazing. If you're on medications, I'm not telling you to get off of them. That's something you need to make a decision to do. I know how I take care of myself, and I know how my family takes care of themselves. But what you have to know is, like we said, your body is so amazing. It can heal from so many things. In my book, I think you can heal from just about anything naturally, given the right tools, and giving the right functioning nervous system and the right nutrition and the right movement, all these pieces put together. The lifestyle and the mindset actually is huge in this part, especially after I went through a Dr. Joe Dispenza workshop. Holy moly. You got to read this guy's book. It'll blow your mind. But going through all of this, myself learning this, but actually being able to see the real things happen to people, like my grandmother, changing a couple simple things in her life, and she's able to get off of medication. Wow, really cool. So she's reversing things that they said she'll have to take this. She'll have to take Lipitor for her whole life. She'll have to take Boniva for her whole life, the rest of her life. That's insane. Why would we have to just mask the problem? I recommend that all of you do a couple things. Take inventory of your health. How many medications are you on? And hopefully not on, but how many medications are you taking? That's prescription. How many over-the-counter medications do you take, and how frequently do you take them? Do you suffer from things like headaches? Do you suffer from things like digestive issues? Do you suffer from things like aches and pains all over in different areas of the body on a regular basis? If so, something is wrong, right? Your body needs some help. It's telling you, it's screaming at you. And if you're just using pills to hide problems, they're bound to get worse. I can tell you, I've seen this in practice, and I have patients that I've seen over the past, we'll just say 3 months, where I've actually challenged, well, I haven't, but looking at x-rays with people, it's kind of blown their mind. I had this woman in her mid-40s come in the past, past couple months, and a little bit of aches and pains here and there, had some headaches, heard that chiropractic was good. So come in, we went through our protocol, had the whole conversation, the consultation with her. We ended up taking what we call motion study x-ray of her neck, right? Because this was this whole upper thing. We looked at the whole spine, but we took an x-ray of her neck, this motion study, which allows us to see, structural misalignment, the whole thing, and actually allows us to look at something called subluxation, which are these subtle shifts in the spine, which can actually irritate or piss off or annoy nerves. Really what happens, it doesn't allow them to function correctly. So she's like, I really don't want x-rays, and she ended up taking them after we had a conversation. And when we were reviewing the x-rays, this woman had, oh my God, severe degenerative changes going on in her neck. And she goes, but how's this even possible? I don't feel anything. And the scary truth is only 10% of your nervous system deals with how you feel. And for most people, if I asked you, how do you know you're healthy? You would say, I feel good. So now we know that feeling is only about 10% of the game. Function is 90. Okay. So we went over the x-rays with this woman, and we measured where these problems are. We haven't done our post x-ray with her yet. But what we're finding with patients just like her, male, female, young, old, is that symptoms and signs start to disappear from conditions over time when we make this lifestyle shift. These patients are getting under chiropractic care. These patients are starting to change their lifestyle. We don't force feed them anything down their throat as far as nutrition and mindset, but we teach them. And when they want to take this next step, it works. And just as an example, another woman came in young, in her maybe low 30s, and severe back pain, lower back pain, and from nothing that she could remember causing the pain. So we did the x-ray, we did a movement study there as well, or a motion study there, and we started to connect the dots when we were reviewing the films with her. And the nerves that go from the low back go to your digestive tract. They go to uterus, ovaries, blood vessels down the leg, and things like this. And I'm starting to connect the neurology with her. And the crazy thing happened. So she came in on her 6th visit, and we had a little bit of a re-exam conversation. And I'm like, we're just gonna call her Mary for HIPAA reasons. So Mary, how we doing today? How is your care going? I know we've had 6 adjustments so far, and you haven't really changed any other lifestyle habits, but how are things going? She goes like this, Dr. Josh, does it make sense that my digestion is like very different, like really good right now? Like I don't feel bloated. I don't feel gassy. I don't feel constipated. Well, actually, or I'm not constipated. And I said, well, Mary, turn this way. Let's look at this chart. And we kind of looked at that same chart where it shows where the nerves go in the body. And she goes, holy cow. So you mean where I've had these problems where you're adjusting my like intestines? I said, Mary, no, I'm not adjusting your intestines. All we're doing is allowing the nervous system to function better. And I know you said you're feeling better, but isn't it pretty neat that you're actually getting better? She goes, wow, I would never have thought of going to see you and my digestion getting better. I was hoping that my low back pain would just go away. And the great thing about having an experience like this is, as the patient, and I love it. It's one of my favorite things to see with patients when the light bulb goes off. But what we see is the patients that start to have nice positive results. Some in a very short period of time, some in a little bit longer period of time. But when they start to have these results, they actually start to, it's like, wow, this is really neat. I think I will take the next step. That's when they start to change the way they eat. That's when they start to change the way they move. And I don't want anybody using any chiropractor, or any nutritionist, or anything as you would be similar to be going to a medical doctor for a drug. Yes, you're going to feel good, but you need to be doing it for a better reason. And it's a lifestyle choice, right? Please, if you're in pain, go see a chiropractor. If you're great, please go see a chiropractor. Get an evaluation at least, because then they can look like we looked at that first woman who really didn't have much going on in her neck, very lightly, had a little bit of neck problems, but she ended up having severe problems. Just think of it as like going to your dentist and having him or her check your teeth. You get an x-ray, do an exam, and they go, wow, John, you have 2 cavities. Well, I don't feel anything. Well, they're still there regardless what you feel or not. They're still there. We need to, drill them out, do whatever we need to do. So go to your chiropractor, take care of your nutrition, take care of your movement, take care of your mindset, and just expect awesome things to happen in your life, because I know you can do it. I'm on your team. And what I want to offer all of you, for those of you that are on Instagram and have been to the website at lifestylelocker.com, I'm giving away a free book. It's called Inside the Locker. It's free. There's no charge to you. Now, I've mentioned this early in my podcast. We're actually starting to get downloads now. And this is so important. So important. We start to touch the bases of all things lifestyle in that book. It's a short, easy read. I'm not selling anything to you through that book. So I would highly recommend download it. You can put on a Kindle. It's a PDF. You can put on a Kindle. You can put on your phone. Put on your computer if you're not using any of those other devices, and learn something. Take a stand. Take a stand for yourself, your family, because you know what? As my friend Dr. Eric Plasker says, he goes, you're going to live a long time, whether you want to or not. You got to decide how you want to get there, right? I want you to get there healthy. I want us to high five, at 100 years old. I want us to be able to, be like a Jack LaLanne, who, by the way, for those of you that don't know, he was a chiropractor too, right? But to be strong and fit and healthy and happy are such awesome things. So that's my rant for the day, Locker Nation. I love and appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for listening, and have an awesome day. Bye-bye.